All right, you burning bovines, it's time to dust off your starter jackets, rip off those tearaways, and blow into your game cartridges. I'm Sam Blandford.
That's Sellers.
And
we wish it was the 90s. I thought you were leaving it for me. Couldn't even get it right with a two-man.
I'll leave that in. That's great. We're rusty. Welcome into Wish It Was the 90s, where we discuss random media from the 90s. And boy, is this episode no different. Pat and I will have watched Tim Burton's 1996 film, Mars Attacks, and we'll share our views today. But first, I think we have to acknowledge our sponsor for today's podcast, Storytellers Salvage Greytown. For all your antique furniture needs, stop in and see Woody at 69A Main Street in Greytown.
This is high-class antiques.
Yeah, you'll see Woody wandering the streets of various upmarket villages. And he does a great job over there in Greytown, so stop in if you're going through the Wairarapa. Socials chat, we're on it.
You've got to just give him an extra plug of storytellers.nz. He's got a really good website as well. You can shop around on that.
Oh, really? Online shopping?
Online shopping. I think he invented
it. Socials chat. We're on Instagram, Twitter, your TikTok, WIWT90S. Give us a like. Heart our posts. We've got a Facebook page.
Do we have a PO box?
PO box, and send us your requests for episodes, and we will endeavour to cover that. Speaking of covering, Pat, how did you find it?
Tim Burton's Mars Attacks. It was basically what I thought it was without having strong memories of it.
Yeah. So when did you watch it at the movies as a 10-year-old?
I don't I don't think I saw this until possibly the early 2000s. I remember being on TV. It must have been on Sky One. It's not Sky One, Sky Movies. Maybe when it was only one channel with Sky Movies. And really enjoyed it at the time and thought it was pretty funny. And this time round, no different really. I actually really enjoyed it. It was just pleasantly ridiculous. My memories of it were quite bad. Like, I kept sort of mixing two different things that happened in the movie up into one memory kind of thing. Like, it happened a few times. Like, in my mind, I was like, I remember they're driving around in the car and they've got a speaker over it and it's going, "We come in peace." So I'd mixed up the speakers when the aliens arrive and they have the translator that goes, "We come in peace. We come in peace." With them playing the music at the end that's making all their heads explode.
Oh,
I remembered bits of it, but not correctly, and I was like, "Oh wait, I remembered that completely wrong."
I don't remember that lanky guy and his grandma at all.
No, but it's kind of, it came rolling back as you went through it. Like, I couldn't really remember a lot of the cast. For some reason, I remembered Tom Jones was on it, who's on it for like 5 minutes.
How good is Tom Jones?
yeah, he was so good. But like, pretty star-studded cast. Just remember like the sort of the iconic when Sarah Jessica Parker and Pierce Brosnan stand up together when the broadcast comes in from the aliens, which was like, I felt like that was always the ad for Sky Movies when it was coming on.
That's a really good bit that when the Martian interrupts the broadcast.
Yeah.
That amazing flirtatious broadcast that's occurring in front of our eyes.
It's real funny with Michael J. Fox getting really chafed that his missus is hitting on Piers Brosnan when
I
he's just
barely
constantly complaining about not getting the story.
I barely remembered any when I say that when I was watching it, it all was coming flooding back to me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember a single actor or actress that was on it um, until I watched it again and remembered a lot of parts. And I could remember that their heads burst from some kind of music, and that's all I could remember.
Right. Couldn't even remember that part.
I remember that dove getting shot. I remember randomly. It's a B movie, right?
I don't want to say because it must have cost a bit with that lineup.
Yeah. So looking at it, all up cost 100 million to make, and whoever I can't remember who maybe Warner Brothers. Is it Warner Brothers? Wanted to make it for 60 million. It ended up coming in about 80 million, and then there was a $20 million marketing campaign, and it just broke even pretty much, the movie.
Oh, nice. I wouldn't have thought it would break even at 100 million, but I suppose the cast got them through the door.
It's got to be a B movie, right? It's a mistake.
Yeah,
Satirical
it is.
bloody.
Did you know that it was a Tim Burton film?
Nah.
I didn't until I looked it up. I was like, oh, this is Tim, but it makes sense. Like it's that quirky, weird stuff. Like I especially like the scene when the aliens getting put into their spacesuits.
Oh
Well, I
yeah.
suppose Earth suits, and it's like that compression. They're on
Yeah.
like a production line getting their suits put on them. Very Tim Burton.
I'm just going to put it out there. I fucking hated it, eh?
I got a feeling you did through the messages.
I thought it was absolutely terrible. And obviously it's, I think it's meant to be. It's like that bloody Piranha movie. It's supposed to be like with the over the top violence, etc. But
Sharknado.
yeah, but the story was obviously it was supposed to be all over the place, but it was like that. Then it was like that. There was the Las Vegas storyline, which I was really confused with. And then Danny DeVito turned up. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. I didn't really like any characters, which is
Wow.
yeah, it's like watching a shit Succession. Anyway, I picked out a few best bits. Did you have any best bits? First of all, I've got a question for you about the start. What did you think about that cold beginning with the cows on fire?
Well, any alien invasion movie has to start somewhere in the sticks, doesn't it? Doesn't it happen in basically all of them?
I thought we were going down a very racist rabbit hole for a second there in that opening scene.
Oh yeah, went by me. The flaming cows. Some amazing CGI work
oh fuck, that was
from the
terrible.
get-go.
I get it was it was 90s, but speaking of 90s, a couple of things, maybe you could call it fashion, but a couple of things I loved were the cell phones that were being used. With it was a flip at the bottom, and still you had to pull the little and
little
the
aerial
at the top.
Yeah, that's good.
And you can tell that the characters are like these are so upmarket. These are really cool. They were no longer the brick cell phones. And as well as that, I thought the Sunnies that were worn by everyone, Michael J. Fox and Sarah Jessica Parker's Sunnies were peak 90s. Like kind of thin, oval, speed dealers. Shit, they were good.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't have a lot of coverage. Basically, the opposite of glasses today.
It's like those little things you wear into the tanning booths.
Yes, yes. Not that I've been in one, but I thought there was one really 90s scene quite at the start, just because of who was there, because I'd forgotten the cast until opening credits rolled, and I was like, oh, geez, look who's in this. But in the Oval Office, you've got the Joker, 007, and Jack Frost. Like in the opening, I was like, this is real 90s. You've got Nicholson, Pierce Brosnan, and Martin
Who's
Short.
who's Jack? Who was Jack Frost? Was he the bald guy?
No, Martin Short's Jack Frost in the Santa Claus 3.
Yeah, who's Martin Short?
You don't know who Martin Short is?
No, which character was Martin Short? Was he Jerry?
I can't remember. He's the one that keeps shopping for hookers.
Yeah, the annoying advisor.
Press secretary.
Is he a big? I recognise him, but I don't think he would be in something big.
Martin Short. You don't know who Martin Short is?
No, I recognise his face. I
You're
didn't know his name was
you're
Martin
blowing my
Short.
mind. Blowing my mind.
I quite like that that scene. There's also another scene in the Oval Office which I really liked. Is after they've like had that moment in Nevada where they've pretty much blown everyone up, and then the president just doesn't know what the fuck to do, and they end up getting like this apology from the Martians, and he goes back to the president. He's like, "You bet, it's a great victory for our administration." I was like, shit.
I like that whole shtick of like it's basically the exact opposite to what would happen, where like the humans just keep giving them like the benefit of the doubt every point, and the Martians is like, what are these idiots doing? Who's going to take this place?
What would you give President Dale on a scale of 0 to 10 about his handling of the invasion?
Yeah, he'd be struggling to get off the mark of 0 there. I did look quite like the war room, but I feel like especially they kind of make it look like what I assume the war room's probably like in modern TV. But back in the 90s, they always looked like game show sets. So I quite enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Nicholson's dual roles.
It's weird. What's up with that? Why is he 2 characters?
Because it's a ridiculous movie. They're just doing ridiculous shit. He was
Apparently.
perfect for both those roles as well.
Yeah, well, apparently when he read the script, which boggles my mind that he actually read the script and still decided to do it, that he wanted to play every character.
Oh, that might have made it better.
Oh shit! You liked it, mate. Not me.
I'd take Jack Nicholson playing every character in a movie. That'd be real funny.
I just got written down here. How did they get him to play one role, let alone 2?
Probably made it slightly cheaper. They didn't have to hire another actress.
Yeah.
What about Portman though? Is this like her first role? Because she's like a child. It's adorable.
Yeah, I thought she was a child in something else that it was quite big. I liked her name, Taffy, of all names to choose.
Taffy Dale.
Speaking of the Dales, Glenn Close, her facials just before the chandelier drops on her head is absolute gold.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she has that much patience for old Jack Nicholson too often.
Top-notch acting.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff.
I haven't got many other things. I thought that scene with Jerry and the Martian girl was fucking weird.
It was super weird. Once the Martian started doing that wavy walk thing, that was one of the times like Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, that's right.
Because then I was waiting for her to do that when he's looking away, and she speeds up behind him and walks like the normal Martians.
Yeah, that was weird, and she looked odd, and I could remember that spitting of the finger into the fish tank, just like very distinctly.
Yeah, when that happened, that rang a bell. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty funny. Uh, I like the nutcase general as well. That's just telling them to nuke them the entire time. He is right too, but he doesn't end up working. But
Yeah, should have
I
listened. Should
like it.
listen to him.
I liked it when he was blowing up about them not listening to him, and then calling them peacemongers rather than warmongers. It's quite good.
There are a couple of bits at the end I thought were really good. When he did end up shooting the nuclear weapon, and it gets like eaten up by that little thing, and then the Martian like sucked on it like a cone.
Yeah.
I thought
And it was like
that was
helium.
that was fantastic. Richie's speech at the end, a real odd speech, and he ends it with, "Maybe we could live in teepees because they're better in a lot of ways."
It made no sense. Sold it to Taffy though. Taffy straight away. Do you have a girlfriend?
And the animal scene with Tom Jones singing "It's Not Unusual" at the end is just a chef's kiss of a final scene.
It was good because when he came on and he was in Vegas singing, I was just starting to get into it, and I was like, I just kind of want to listen to Tom Jones for a while now. So I was glad that it came back.
I thought I had this feeling the Martians like heard the song and loved him and wanted to imprison him and get him to sing "It's Not Unusual" over and over on their home planet.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to go. If they're going
They're
to
gonna
take
just
anything back with them, they should take Tom Jones. But was he in his speaking scenes? Is he holding back his Welsh accent?
he Welsh.
Yeah,
This is
very.
like Martin Short. I don't know. I've only no. I thought he's American, so it must be.
Last time I saw him was like on Graham Norton, and he still got like a proper Welsh accent. And I was like, he didn't have too many speaking roles in this, and I kept sort of missing it and not paying attention. And I was like, oh, is he holding it back? I felt like he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Did you know when "It's Not Unusual" was written or first came out?
No, hit me with some facts.
1965.
Ooh, yeah, that's a lot earlier than I thought.
I was trying to think of. I thought "It's Not Unusual" came out in the 90s, and it was like Tom Jones coming back. But did he? What was the song he did? Was it "Sex Bomb" that came out like?
Yes, very good.
Sex Bomb,
It's not
Sex
unusual. Is
Bomb.
it a Tom Jones original?
I think so. I don't think he didn't write it, but it's his song, I
He's the
believe.
original performer of it.
Yeah, I think he's one of those ones who doesn't write his songs.
I didn't know he
Um,
even went back that far as like a performer. But
all right, we can't really do a character draft with two people. So we might just we've picked three characters, our favorite three characters from Mars Attacks, and we're just going to count them down 3, 2, 1. And we might have a bit of crossover, we might not. But Pat, I hated all the characters pretty much. There's only a couple I really liked. We'll start with your number 3. We'll see if we've got some crossover.
well, I'm going to take at 3. He's not in it for long, and you see his death coming a mile off. Billy Glenn Norris, played by Jack Black. Just him being a psycho of a like military kid, and also just a lot of fun seeing such a fresh face on Jack Black. But yeah, when they're just in his trailer with his family, talking it up about how they're going to kick the Martians' ass, it's just they teed it up so high, like you could see it coming a mile off. And yeah, sure enough, he dies in the first fight scene.
I didn't even recognize him until the second scene he was in.
Oh, right, really?
Because did he have like a mask or something on in the trailer, or something around his face?
He had a blindfold on to start with because he was doing the blindfolded put your gun together. It was some good foreshadowing that worked really well when he tries to shoot his gun and it just falls apart.
Yeah, that was very good. It does segue quite nicely into my. I didn't have Jack Black on my 3, but my third favorite was Billy and Richie's dad, or maybe just Billy's dad. I don't know. He, and by proxy, his wife. Those two are very funny, I thought. Blatantly just ripping the other son in front of him. We got plumb lucky with Billy. Can't expect the same luck twice. I mean, as a second child, that rung really heavy for me.
Yeah, it had a lot of Dewey Cox, wrong kid died type of vibes.
Yeah, they were very funny.
Yeah, the only thing is he kind of had that similar role of that real funny guy off Independence Day, but not quite as good.
What, you're telling me this guy's a famous actor as well?
No, he isn't. But what's the Independence Day guy's name?
I read something about Independence Day, the directors or the producers of Independence Day, like rushing to get the Independence Day out before Mars Attacks because they were worried how similar the two movies were going to be.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Randy Quaid is who I'm thinking of. Randy Quaid's character on Independence Day, very similar sort of guy, except Randy Quaid saves the day, kind of, in Independence Day.
And this guy gets thrown around and killed in a trailer by a large robotic Martian.
Kind of look like the Iron Giant.
All right, number 2, Pat.
Number 2, I am going to go with Art Land. That is Jack Nicholson's sort of secondary character, but he's the Galaxy Hotel, I think it is, the casino in Vegas. He's the owner of that. He just has some pretty good scenes and just a good character for Nicholson to play. But I really liked when he was still trying to sell to his investors right up until like the hotel was getting blown up by the aliens who's standing in front of them. So just another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely thought Art Land was the better Jack Nicholson character, and his odd relationship with who was that played by? Can't remember what her name is. I'll find that.
What was her name? She's been on something really recently. She was on one of the Marvel movies.
She's on American Beauty.
Annette Bening.
Played by Annette Bening.
Yeah.
And I remember one scene, and she's just like hating on him, and then he just pulls out some casino chips, and she loves him again.
Yeah.
Thought that was
Did you notice that Christina Applegate was Jack Black's girlfriend? I don't think she has a single line.
No, she definitely has a sex scene though. Isn't that her in the back of a van or at one point?
I missed that. But she would have been a pretty big actress at the time, right? Like this would have been not too far after what's Al Bundy's show?
Married with Children.
Married with Children.
It's interesting. A lot of these actors and actresses, I thought was a really weird movie for them to choose to do.
Do you reckon it was just a time of like, if Tim Burton's doing a movie, everyone wants to be in it? It was just a little 90s period there where if his name was on it, they could almost get anyone.
Yeah, because what is Beetlejuice like 93? And he's got another movie that came out in 94, and Danny Elfman does the music for
Beetlejuice 88.
88, is it?
Yeah, I thought it was in the 90s as well.
Ed Wood, I think, and Nightmare Before Nightmare, Edward Scissorhands. He didn't do Nightmare on Elm Street, eh? No, that's someone else. Yeah, I think you might be right. He's big with Edward Scissorhands, probably big with Ed Wood. And then, I don't know, it's still weird, like Danny DeVito's role, real odd.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a name. It's his name is literally Rude Gambler.
Yeah, it's it. Yeah, rude gambler and in brackets lawyer. So he claims to be a lawyer at one point. I'm not sure if he actually is. Yeah, how did they get this cast together? I'm glad they did.
Yeah, my number 2 is, I didn't know his name, Martin Short, but it's Jerry, the assistant / what do you call him? Press secretary.
He's the press secretary.
Speech writer. Yeah, Jerry had some good scenes. Had the weird scene with the fembot Martian.
The fembot Martian. Yeah, it's a good description.
I enjoyed bumbling Jerry and his relationship with President Dale.
Yeah, he was an absolute pest there.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, I reckon we've got number 1 the same here. We haven't talked about this character once in the whole podcast.
Oh, then no.
Oh, okay. Who you got?
Playing himself, Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Just watching this made me realise that I miss Tom Jones. I need to watch some Tom Jones content.
I nearly put Tom Jones in the top 3, but he was such a bit character. And I've been mugged off in character drafts for taking bit characters.
Yeah.
So instead, I went with, played by NFL great Jim Brown. I went with Byron.
Byron Williams. I don't know. I seem to have picked up his last name of that character. Yeah, the retired boxer.
And I was sure it was George Foreman, especially when he got out his boxing hands.
That was quite a funny scene when he's boxing all those aliens and just kind of. I just liked it when he was jabbing him. The alien was way too small to get close to him. He was just taking them on the helmet. But I like it. I also like the Martian squared up to him as well. Like he's like, okay, let's go. And then just kept copping his jab on the helmet.
And his just his triumphant return at the end, when we all thought he had just been massacred by those Martians.
Yeah, that was good. A couple of good boxes named for that era as well, when he's talking to his manager trying to get a raise. He's like, I can replace you with Leon Spinks or Buster Douglas next week.
Yeah, I had a soft spot for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, there you go. We've got 6. We had 6 different characters. I've got a bit of Tracy Trivia. And it is aptly named Tracy Trivia. Who's the character that plays Tracy? Dick Tracy? Is his name Warren Beatty?
Yeah, Warren Beatty.
So Warren Beatty.
Beatty or Beatty? I always thought it was Beatty, but we had this conversation last time.
No one listened to that one. And then we did Tracy Trivia as a result, and he was like, what the heck's going on? Warren Beatty was originally cast for President Dale. And then Jack Nicholson, I don't know, it doesn't say whether he turned down the role or they moved on to Jack Nicholson. Maybe Jack Nicholson said, "I'll play every role," and they thought, "We've got to have him."
I wonder if he would have played those dual roles though, because I could see Warren Beatty as President Dale, but not so much Art Land.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think they probably had someone for Artland different, and then Jack Nicholson said, "I'll do that."
Yeah,
Didn't even look like Jack Nicholson.
he had a prosthetic nose. It took me a little bit. I watched it with Alice, and I was like, "Is that Jack Nicholson again?" She goes, "No." It's like after a while, I was like, "Yes, it is." But yeah.
Did you know that Mars Attacks was based on a set of Topps trading cards from 1962?
Ops trading cards.
Topps trading cards. There were 55 a set of cards in
T
1962, brought out about a Martians from Mars attacking Earth. The cards sparked parental and community outrage over their graphic violence and implied sexuality.
I didn't know Tops did that sort of stuff. Like Tops did sports cards as well. This is Tops TOPPS.
Yeah,
I want to look them
Topps.
up. That's amazing Tracy Trivia right there.
Yeah, they also had to change a lot of the images because of the outrage that they sparked, and make them less violent.
Oh, these actually ring a bell.
Yeah, they
Go and
look
Google these.
familiar.
Go and Google these, you three listeners.
They're worth about 500, $400 or something these days if you've still got one from your pack of bubble gum that you got for 5 cents.
Sounds like a bargain.
I got two left. The Fembot Martian was played by Lisa Marie Smith, who was Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time.
Oh.
And they were together for about 8 years, not married. And she tried to sue him when he broke up with her to go with Helena Bonham Carter. And he won the case because he had already given her $5.5 million in the split.
It's not a bad payday.
As a girlfriend, like not even married. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but she looked after the dog. The dog was also hers, but she had it before they were together as well. But anyway, now it all sounds fair.
Sorry, my last and best bit of Tracy trivia. One of the brothers or sons of Byron, the older brother, I believe, was played by none other than Kim Kardashian's Ray J.
My God,
Who's now 42.
I knew I'd seen him somewhere. Oh wait, cut that out. Looks so familiar.
It would have made him about 13, 14 at the time of filming.
Of filming this,
yeah. Absolute gold.
Oh.
I was really, really surprised when I heard that. Anything else, Pat, that we need to cover? Have you got any questions, or have you got any Tracy trivia?
I don't have any Tracy trivia, but there was a question I had. Oh, I know you didn't enjoy a lot of this film, but the only part that really let me down is when they shoot the golden retriever.
A lot of the kill scenes were obviously they're supposed to be like that, but I feel like they could have played with it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to make it ridiculous rather than gross.
Yeah, not necessarily gross, just like a lot of it was just zapping them and then they just disintegrate. Like I feel like they could have been a little bit more exaggerated or something a little bit different each time. Like I like
Yeah,
with the Michael J. Fox's one where it was just like his hand.
yeah, and there was the really aggressive general guy that they shrunk down and then stood on.
Yeah, yeah, that was see more of that, I
Some more of
reckon.
those. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Maybe we should remake it. But
Mm.
the other thing is, I quite liked. Well, not liked, but I just laughed at the end because President Dale dies and his wife dies, and for some reason, their daughter, played by Natalie Portman, was it Taffy Dale,
Yeah.
takes over the duties for the president. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
It should have been Jerry.
So that the line of succession. This is in this universe, I guess the states has a monarchy.
How does it work? I've watched the House of Cards. I can't even remember what's the person who's supposed to step in?
You mean designated survivor?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of that recast or reboot,
Yes.
who are you going to recast in any of these roles? You got anyone for us?
Nah, I don't actually. I reckon Sarah Jessica Parker can continue to play that Natalie character. I thought she was really good.
Yeah, yeah, spot on. I
Um,
thought the only thing was one of my favorites, Artland. That kind of role reminded me of Tom Cruise and playing Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder. Get him back. Just bring back more Les Grossman. I think I've cast Les Grossman in about 8 movies. That was I just want that character to come back. Will Ferrell would be a good President Dale too.
yeah, someone like a comedy actor like that, I thought would be quite good. Or I can't remember his name, but he's the cop opposite Seth Rogen in Superbad.
Um,
I
yes.
think he would be he could play quite a good comic president. Or if you're looking for someone really relaxed who doesn't know what to do, you could get Jeff Bridges to channel the dude and play the president. But I thought Pierce Brosnan's character, Professor Kessler. I reckon you get Neil deGrasse, whatever his name is, deGrasse
Neil deGrasse
Tyson.
Tyson.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good.
Get him in there. I reckon playing that.
Bill Hader
Although
was the guy you're after.
although I don't know what the sexual chemistry would be like between Sarah Jessica Parker and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has that voice. He could lure in. He could lure in. He'd go well. The other one was I thought Michael J. Fox's character, which I'm struggling to find his name, Jason Stone. I think just as a really manipulative partner, I thought Jonah Hill might be suited to that role.
I thought Tom Cruise actually. I thought Tom Cruise would be great in that spot.
Yeah, anyone with got a lot of practice with manipulation be spot on.
I've got a question for you, Pat. This happens in 2023. Not the movie coming out. Martians from Mars invade. What's different? What happens?
Well, we weren't on that map in the background of the war room, so hopefully they won't find us because the states couldn't find us either. I always have this thing in my head about any of these like disaster movies. They always end up like having to run and they're in like work shoes and stuff. As soon as a disaster happens, I'm going to put on my running shoes just in case I need to get out of the car and run.
Would we be getting PSAs from the president or our prime minister? Or
yeah,
are we trying to make peace with these Martians?
It's like COVID, the prime minister comes on and tries to keep the peace,
And there's a sign language interpreter next to the prime minister as well.
Oh yeah. Will they keep doing that little circle finger thing that the aliens kept doing?
I thought the Martians were really good. I thought the Martians, even though I would have, I think I would have liked subtitles, but maybe that would have taken away from that. It was quite good. The acting of the Martians, especially when they're on their spaceship,
Yeah,
taking the
yeah.
piss out of the humans and stuff like that, I thought was quite good.
They were some of the better scenes actually on the spaceship. I liked it when they were watching Dukes of Hazzard and and Godzilla. I really enjoying Godzilla going through the city and messing it up. Oh, this is good stuff.
All sitting down in underpants.
Yeah, yeah, their little red undies were pretty funny. They look like speedos.
Yeah, well, it's on Netflix. Mars Attacks.
I say watch it.
Oh, look, for nostalgia purposes, it was really good. As a movie, I fucking struggled through it. But it's not very long. It's a bit of a laugh. There's some big names in it. Pat, you love every movie that you watch, so it's fair.
Yeah, I'm a low bar for enjoying anything, so I laughed all the way through and enjoyed myself, and just thought,
Stay tuned. We're looking at some Romeo and Juliet, and maybe some Mortal Kombat 2, and potentially another look into some Saturday morning cartoons. But thanks for listening.
Go keep that.